What? What kind of net casting spider? Giant pandas?
Is that a menu?
What's that around my neck? All right.
Wait, there's a monkey on your back.
Kensil Culture, puppets, props, puns, podcasts.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Kensil Culture, the pop culture magazine. I'm the legendary Wid, and sitting right beside me is the chief, we'll call you the cook and bottle washer of Kensil Culture, the pop culture magazine. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a nice hand for the one, the only John Kensil.
Hey, everybody, John Kensil representing the 215.
That's his IQ. That would be really genius.
That's a compliment. Thank you.
High IQ, too.
But it's back we're in the summertime here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
All right.
I hope you had a good 4th of July.
Yes, and this is where it started, the 4th of July in Philadelphia, and we're kind of proud of that. We're also proud of Wawas and, Stetson hats, but, the July 4th, Independence Day, as they call it.
This is a true fact about the 4th of July in Philadelphia.
Oh, I love true facts, John.
Yes. During Independence Day in 1776, I guess, July 4th, right?
You guess. Come on.
It was a very hot summer.
That's the spirit.
Yes, that's true. It was a very hot summer.
Okay.
Right? They didn't have soft drinks like we have today. So to cool off, they drank French liqueur and ale.
And Madeira wine.
And wine, too. So to cool off. I think they were bomb-stinking drunk when they wrote the Declaration of Independence. In fact, the first 2 drafts of Declaration were on the back of pizza boxes. And when Ben Franklin passed out, someone drew a wang on his face with a feather.
He must have been drinking.
Yes. But they were bombed out of their mind. But but they had a big celebration in Philadelphia with some big giant rap concert in front of the art museum where Rocky runs up and down. I think it was with that, I think
Jay-Z is always at the concerts for July 4th here in Philadelphia, and nothing says Independence Day like Jay-Z.
Yes, and it was a neat concert. But did it rain? I think our weather was kind of lousy that day.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure. Because, you know what? It was so foggy that when I went to see some of the firecrackers, like the smoke just stood there. I mean, because it was hanging on the water particles that were in the air.
He's right. The low pressure and the fire. He's right about that, too. And so my friend Al, he's a Civil War reenactor, milkman from New Jersey. A Revolutionary War milk. Anyway.
Is he? Does he devote more time to each, or is he half and half?
Half and half.
Oh, okay.
He's half and half. But he has a dog. It's a beautiful collie that goes insane with storms and fireworks.
I think that's a lot of dogs do that.
Oh,
John.
and this dog's a purebred collie. It's a real beautiful show dog almost. But it's sad because. But it's weird. It may become an advocate against what do you call it? Reports. That report is when a firework goes off. I'm thinking, that's part of it, but it's also too watching the big spectacle explode in the sky. But that is awful for dogs. His dog ripped down his shade. It just wants to run away, and dogs have an extra sense of hearing. It just wants to run and just escape from this horrible monster noise that's attacking it. He has to give it tranquilizers to calm him down. It's a really sad for dogs and war veterans.
Yeah, and when it rains, with the dogs, I stepped in a poodle. I'm sorry, John. Yes. But you know what? The fireworks are being taken over now by drones that are, have you seen that yet? Computerized drones that form images in the sky and will write anything you want All you have to do is type in, and it'll form all sorts of
like a laser light.
Laser light show, exactly. But these are like hundreds of drones, little drones with lights on them that and different colored lights. You're up there, and they made a big martini.
I saw that
thing, and and there's they make like a picture of George Washington or something like that.
It's really neat. They in Europe they have like in Japan or China they have dragons, and it looks real. It's really neat 3D laser. It's like there's a movie in the last there's a Spider-Man movie was out where he fights Electro.
Okay.
His weapon is he has thousands of little drones that can project something. It's just really that's a reality almost. They can do that stuff. Very cool. And what I
love Electro. I love that they keep current. Sorry, John.
Well, we talked about it on the last show about it was the 48th anniversary of when Jaws was released in 1975.
Yeah.
The July 4th weekend, usually it's a big weekend. First there's Memorial Day for big budget movies. Then the 4th of July, because people just want to go out in the heat and see a movie.
Jaws was the beginning of the summer blockbuster, because usually the blockbusters or the big movies came around Christmas. And they didn't have much faith in Jaws, and they made it into a summer blockbuster. And they made also another summer blockbuster by the same people.
Pink Flamingos with John Waters.
No.
No. Well, that's what I was getting involved in. Well, Wid's right. Same one made Jaws. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Well, George Lucas they're friends. In 1981, they made it's one of my favorite movies of all time, my top 10 movies. They made a movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And the Lost Ark is actually the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, it has some religious background to it. And there's there was a box set that was put out not too long ago.
Of all the Indiana Jones movies.
Okay. And right there, the first three, okay,
right.
They're probably, and everybody agrees they were the best.
Oh, definitely. The first one was it's an homage to 1940s adventure serial movies, you'd say. And it was just a fun movie, a great score, and the story just plodded along, and not plotted, but it just moved along. Fun. It's a great, rousing movie, and they win in the end. It has adventure, Nazis, supernaturalism, solving mysteries. It's a great movie.
Spiritualism, archaeology.
Yeah, but all right, great movie. It's one of my top 10 movies of all time. But
and whips.
Yes.
We'll see what they have here.
Well, wait, before I got a discussion with my friends this weekend.
All
right. There's a scene in Indiana Jones, the first one, right?
That's right here.
Yes.
Indiana Jones, the first one.
Where
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Where he's trying to chase somebody through he's getting chased through a market in the Middle East. There's a apple cart, right? And he comes out, and one of the bad guys is a big 6'8" swordsman dressed in black, right? And Indiana Jones just goes like this, and pulls a gun and shoots him dead, right? Well, there's a famous rumor that it's always repeated in print that day that Harrison Ford had the stomach virus and didn't feel like shooting this elaborate scene. So he just said, can't just shoot him, right? And my debate was, I studied film, I've studied scripts, I know this stuff. I go, there's no way in the world they would have an elaborate fight scene and have the main actor go, I don't feel like doing this, right? There's no way in the world they would let an actor go, right? And he was a big star, but he wasn't a gigantic star. He only made a couple, 2 stars before it. I go, I don't believe that rumor. That is an effing lie. That rumor that went around. So, what I
hear.
What I did.
I always believed that rumor, John.
So what I did, I got the actual script for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And there was the comical demise of that guy was always in it. It says Indy runs through the market and counters a 6'8" guy, and the original was he kicks him in the testicles and he falls down. But so instead they made him shoot him, right? Well, the rumor you always hear is, oh, it's a big elaborate fight scene, and swords and that's a total lie. I have the shooting script. I have it saved on my phone, and it's a famous rumor, right? But
I love to know that.
Right?
They were going to kick him in the nuts.
The guy was always going to meet his demise comically.
Raiders of the Lost
right?
Nuts.
Right? Yeah. But you hear these stories like there's no way Spielberg had such a plotted out, exact, fun, super movie, and an actor going, I don't feel like shooting this scene because I have a stomach virus. Never believe so. It makes people go, But it's a great movie, and I have photographic evidence to prove it. All right,
that's the wrong one. You're picking up the bonus material, Mike.
Well, all right. That movie, that's a great movie, right? Now the second one, right, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's when a lot of my friends who are younger than me love this movie, right? I don't like it. It's too frantic and it's too far over the top. It's screaming annoyingness. It's a little short round, a little Asian kid who helps him out, going, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. And the woman who eventually married Steven Spielberg, Kate Capshaw, the whole movie, she's like, Indy. And it's frantic and annoying. I didn't like it, but a lot of my friends who are younger think it's fantastic. I can't stand it. It's jarring, right?
A lot of his stuff comes from older movies.
Yes.
And there's a serial. There's almost a serial where a guy dresses just like Indy.
Exactly. Fedora hat.
And he goes on little escapades like Indy. But he just did it so good. The Temple of Doom, it was he won the Academy Award last year, the kid.
I know. For
I forget that
the timeline
self-indulgent movie.
A thousand different stories or something like that. You're right though, and I was like, ugh, it was too frantic. It was also remind me of,
and it was too. That kid was too pandering, for me, and it took away the adventure that the first one had.
Yeah, and
with the melting faces.
Yeah, but it also had like stuff that was neat, but way over the top, where they have no parachutes. So he jumps out of a plane on a raft and pulls the raft, and the raft lands on a mountain of snow and slides like a big sled and lands on a waterfall. It was just too frantic, and it also reminds
you Jerry Lewis a little bit. The sight gags and the gags were a little bit too gagged out. A little bit too. Too juvenile.
Yeah,
I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, you do want, even though you're right, adventure, but you want a little bit of realism in it. Well,
exactly.
There's another movie that came out a little bit after that was Back to the Future 2. Same thing. The movie's too frantic and not fun. You go, the top drop. No, it's too much going on. All right.
Well, movies are seldom equal to movies they are a sequel to.
Yes.
But the second one is always very hard. But the third one that came out is
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's a great movie in the series, and they introduced Sean Connery as his dad.
And
it's great movie.
They did good. They had chemistry.
Yeah,
Sean Connery and he.
It's a fun movie, right? Very fun. So the first one and the third one. Then, 10 years ago, they released the fourth Indiana Jones movie called Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I only saw parts of that on YouTube and thing. And,
oh my God!
They were chasing the Nazis in that one too, right?
It was, but it was post World War II Nazis, right? And it was awful.
The worst kind.
And he introduced Indiana Jones as a son, played by Shia LaBeouf, named what was his name again? Sluggo Jones, something like that. I can't think of his name right now. But he was unlikable. It was stupid and lousy. And that movie is noted for the big crappy scene where a nuclear bomb goes off and Indiana Jones hides in a refrigerator and gets blown about 500 yards and lives.
One of my favorite stories, short stories, is called Baby in a Refrigerator. Okay, and it's about a fire. And the baby is inside the refrigerator. It's written by the same guy who wrote Double Indemnity and James Cain. Okay, a big time mystery writer. But what's happened to the new one? Right, brand new one is called
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I saw it, right, and Harrison Ford's 80 years old. It's not the worst movie in the world.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. But I would like to see it. Did you?
I did see it. So the movie takes place in 1969 during the moon landing, and a bunch of Nazis who survived the war, who changed their names, they found that there's a dial made by Archimedes, where he was a famous mathematician back in the
Right. And he invented this the ship guiding.
Exactly. He did by reasons of mathematics. He found there's a ripple in time, right? So the Nazis want to use this dial when it predicts the opening in time to fly a plane back and correct all of Hitler's mistakes during World War II. So the Nazis would win, right? Well, Indiana Jones is 80 years old, so they de-age Harrison Ford, and it does look good, but the problem is he's like 40 years old in the early scenes.
Wow.
They have his voice today coming out of that body, and it's like, hey, what's going on there? Yeah. And there's another scene too where he's walking with his friend, and he's de-aged, but he walks like an 80-year-old man, going like this. You can see it's not. They should have put his face on a different body. And also,
that's what she said.
Yes, and also too, the movie has a lot of close-ups, so I guess you can't see how gangly and lanky he is. The movie isn't bad. Oh, his son's name was Mutt, and it's not bad, but like, it didn't even have to be made. I don't know who's like clamoring for it. You know, maybe it's a cash cow. Like, who's really going? Oh, I hope they make another
Indie movie. I don't think
movie.
it's a cash cow. I think I heard it's already taken over by
two other movies.
Horror movie.
Oh yeah, Insidious.
After its second week, and that's not a blockbuster, right?
Yeah, and then there's some horror movie called The Yankton Strangler.
And I did not see that coming. Yeah. All right,
but that's it for this episode, Wade.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that has been, once again, Kensil Culture and discussing Raiders of the Lost Ark and its sequels. And we want you to do something. We want you to push that subscribe button and ring that bell. Thank you.